It's not proving my beliefs. My beliefs are something that I have through faith. It really is a question, folks. You know, you're right. I'm on the way to Damascus, and now I believe in God. It didn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Hang on, Michael. Hang on. What was the evidence? An appearance of the risen Christ. That's what started Christianity. It was the appearance of the risen Christ and the fact that there was evidence of the other kind for his resurrection that launched Christianity on the world.
Welcome to The Way to Eternity. In this video, we will see how the atheist's argument on Apostle Paul's conversion to Christianity is destroyed by Dr. John Lennox on a Christian debate show. Before all that, let me tell you who Dr. John Lennox is. Also known as John Carson Lennox, is a renowned mathematician, bioethicist, and Christian apologist around the globe. His books like Has Science Buried God? And Can Science Explain Everything? Are the most highly rated books among many others. He supports the relationship between science and God, and he totally disagrees with Darwinian theory of evolution. On a debate show with Dr. Michael Ruse, who is a philosopher of science, and he worked on the relationship between science and creation-evolution controversy. Dr. John Lennox was tried to encounter by Dr. Ruse by saying that Christianity cannot be true because most of the incidents that is mentioned in the Bible are unrealistic and they seem more of a myth. He took Paul's conversion to Christianity as the example of the biblical incidents not being true, because what is written in the Bible to have happened at that moment when Paul was on his way to Damascus can only fit into fairy tale, but not in reality. But the way Dr. Lennox responds to this argument is really fascinating to watch.
Before that, if you are new to our channel, please do like and subscribe. Do not forget to press the bell icon so that you get notified for our upcoming videos.
It's not proving my beliefs. My beliefs are something that I have through faith. It really is a question, folks, of Saul on the way to Damascus. Saul was not, met by somebody who says, by the way, Saul, I'd like to introduce you to the ontological argument. I think, if we spend a couple of hours talking this one through, or we talk about the argument from design, and Saul says, you're right, I'm on the way to Damascus, and now I believe in God. It didn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It's the gift of God. That's the basis of Christianity.
But hang on, Michael. Hang on.
Here we can see Dr. Ruse trying to make an argument out of the way how Paul was struck blindfolded by the bright light and heard the voice of Jesus Christ telling him to repent, which ultimately changed his heart as he came to believe that Jesus Christ is actually the Son of God. Dr. Ruse says that it's not how someone's called to Christ, but the answer from Dr. Lennox is really satisfying.
But hang on, Michael. Hang on. You see, Paul was convinced. What was the evidence? An appearance of the risen Christ. That's what started Christianity. It was the appearance of the risen Christ and the fact that there was evidence of the other kind for his resurrection that launched Christianity on the world. And I'm intrigued by your example, the moral example you gave. You see, you mentioned what I would call testability. You can test Newton's laws and all this kind of thing. And I'm constantly up against the question, how can you as a scientist believe this stuff when it's not testable? And I say, who said it isn't testable? You see, why am I sitting here as a Christian? Because I've tested the claims that Christ has made. Let me give you one simple example. We might want to deal with this later on, I don't know, but Christ promises that those who trust him and receive him will receive peace with God and forgiveness and a new life and a new power. I've seen that happen to me and to people endless times. And when you see 2 and 2 make 4 all the time, you begin to believe that 2 and 2 make 4. I think it's eminently testable. And so, to come back on Michael's side for a moment, I think there are different levels of argument, Michael. You mentioned testing laws in a laboratory, but there are many things in science, as we know, that are not testable. You can't test the origin of life in the lab. You have to make an inference to the best explanation in the past. And that is true of many things. So for me, the evidence on which my faith is based is cumulative. Part of it is objective, intellectual arguments and all this kind of thing. But a great deal of it has to do with the evidence of, does it actually work in life?
In the world of chaos and wickedness, we as Christians should always ask God for wisdom and not be influenced by the people who often question God.
The book of James says, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind.